Very good. I am most pleased and honored to introduce to you today's distinguished commencement speaker, Mr. Thomas Eugene Costello, Jr. Tom Costello is an Emmy Award-winning NBC News correspondent based in Washington, D.C. He reports daily across all NBC News and MSNBC platforms. His major assignments include America's new space race and privatization of space exploration, government response to the COVID pandemic, and aviation accidents around the globe. He holds a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism from the University of Colorado at Boulder and a master's degree in administration and international commerce from Boston University. He has been recognized with 6 Emmy Awards, the Edward R. Murrow and National Headliner Awards, awards from the Society of Professional Journalists, the Associated Press, and is the only journalist ever presented with the National Air Traffic Control Association's Sentinel of Safety Award. So please welcome Tom Costello, your commencement speaker. You missed the Pelicans in the house.
Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you, President Sims, Chairman Mendez, the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty and staff for that very warm introduction. And what a beautiful, turned out to be a nice day, right? Not bad at all. And most importantly, thank you to the class of 2023 for including me in this celebration. And I mean, I am truly honored to have been asked to speak to you today, on a day that I know is so special to each and every one of you, to your friends and your family. In fact, I'll tell you what, stand up, graduates. Everybody stand up. Stand up, a little energy. Okay, now, have you found your family yet? Because if not, you need to give them a wave and a thank you. They are so proud of you for everything. There you go. Look at where you are. Take this in, you guys. Take this in. Savor this. You've made it. You've done it. Your family supported you, and they are so proud and happy that they have written the last tuition check. I'll tell you what, keep standing. We're going to do a selfie. I'm going to post it on, nothing matters if you don't do social media, right? Okay, here we go. Are you ready? I got to turn my phone around. Are you ready? And a 3, 2. Okay, now everybody wave. 3, 2. I think I got a problem with my phone. You see, I don't have a degree in computer technology. All right, have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. But you know, I got to say, listening to all of these degrees and listening to the accomplishments, what an impressive group you all are. Looking at the regalia, I am struck by what a group of overachievers all of you are. And I looked through, you saw my degree is in journalism, my undergrad, right? I looked through your course descriptions. Oh my goodness gracious. Astronautical engineering, professional pilot, computer engineering, counterterrorism, mechatronics, unmanned autonomous systems, cyber psychology. I know I left somebody out. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, seriously, if you have one of these degrees, you are about to blast off. You are on the pad, ready to go. And your timing is perfect. I thought about you all last week when I was covering the SpaceX rocket explosion 4 minutes into flight. Actually, you know, they called it a rapid, unscheduled disassembly prior to stage separation. Yeah, it kind of sounds like a Friday night, right? So, you know, Elon Musk is promising that he's going to be back up in just a few months. But what a great metaphor, I thought, for the careers all of you have chosen. Because the truth is, rapid, unscheduled disassemblies are the building blocks of greatness, right? Of innovation, of experimentation, of going where no one has gone before. You know, President John F. Kennedy said in 1962, we choose to go to the moon and do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Now, you've heard that part of the speech. Did you hear the next sentence? He said, because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies, of our skills, because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one that we are unwilling to postpone. This country never postpones challenges. Never, right? JFK could have delivered the same speech today, substitute moon for Mars, or cutting and curing cancer, creating cutting-edge AI that will enhance our quality of life, maybe save lives. If we don't experiment and fail and get up and try again, we never move forward. And as a species, that's critical. As a society, as a country, as individuals. So while we all laughed at that typical nerdy rocket talk from SpaceX, it was absolutely what makes Elon Musk who he is. For better or worse, that is what makes SpaceX what it is. It's what has made NASA what it is. It's what makes this school, Capital Tech, so special. Last month, I threw a softball question at the new commander for the next Artemis NASA mission that will orbit the moon in about 18 months. I knew the answer, but I wanted him to give me the answer on camera. And I said, why do we need to go back to the moon? He said, because it's who we are. It's in our DNA. And he's right. Lewis and Clark took plenty of wrong turns as they tried to find their way to the Pacific Ocean back in 1804, but they kept on going, didn't they? 2 years. In 1901, did you know this? In 1901, a dejected Wilbur Wright told his brother Orville after a failed test, man will not fly for 1,000 years. The next year, in 1902, they flew their glider on 1,000 flights. Steve Jobs had a not-so-perfect rollout for a lot of his gadgets and computers, but guess what? How many of us have one of these in our phones, in our pockets right now? And I would put my money on anyone right here, right now. You all are going places. Vice President Butler just told me that the job placement rate right now for you guys is like 95 to 100% already. Are you kidding me? You guys are set. And it seems to me you now know that having a university degree does not mean you know it all. It means that you have learned how to learn. And you've got some expertise, and you're excited, and you're already writing the code for our future. It's why your family, am I right? Your family often struggles to pull you away from the computer screen. Mom, Dad, is that right? Yeah. Or that aviation experiment that you've been working on, or the latest article about space or cybersecurity or psychology or artificial intelligence. It makes you who you are. Now, I must say, I have the coolest job at NBC News. All of my colleagues think so. I don't have to cover politics, number one. And in this day and age, you know, I get to cover all the cool stuff that you have been dedicating your lives to and will be soon doing for a living. So let me give you just a list of highlights from my last year or so. Stories that I cover every day on the Today Show, NBC Nightly News, MSNBC, News Now, CNBC. And how many of these are STEM-focused? It speaks to the priorities of the country right now, how badly we need you. Your timing could not be better joining the workforce. And I'm not name-dropping, I'm just telling you, these are the people who are right now shaping the world. I was with Elon Musk at SpaceX headquarters in Los Angeles. What did he tell me? He said, I need smart young people willing to work round the clock to help me get to Mars. 2 weeks ago, I asked the head of NASA, just over there and across the river, I said, tell me, what are the chances that there is life out there somewhere based on all the new data we're getting, all the new pictures from the James Webb telescope? What are the chances that life exists out there? He said, trillions. I said, what, 1 in a trillion? No, there are trillions of chances because we now know there are trillions of planets. It's astonishing how this information is evolving by the day, right? I was with Buzz Aldrin in January. He walked on the moon with Neil Armstrong, 93 years old today, and he retold the story of trying to flip the switch inside the lunar module to light the rockets and get back up off the moon and return to Earth. However, the switch broke. They're standing on the lunar surface, and the switch broke. What did he do? Pulled out a ballpoint pen, stuck it in the hole, and he made the thing fire. They came back home. One of the greatest thrills of my life sitting in the original Apollo mission control room in Houston with flight controller Gene Kranz, who said failure is not an option when Apollo 13 had a problem. And he told me he wasn't worried because he was surrounded by some of the smartest people in the world, self-proclaimed space geeks and nerds who loved math and science and problem solving. And this was their biggest problem ever, and they solved it. The top generals at Space Force and Space Command are right now very concerned that Russia and China are ahead of us on critical weapons technology, which may explain some of the UAPs or the UFOs that have been popping up and we've been reporting on. But when we have some of the smartest people in the world right here, the brainiac, said one general to me, I'm not worried. We'll be fine. Last month, I was on a Norwegian, this is how I spent my spring break. I was on a NATO patrol on a Norwegian ship in the North Sea hunting Russian subs. And we found them. But they're coming up, the NATO teams, the Norwegians are coming up against Russian shipping trawlers that are really spy boats and spy drones flying over their North Sea oil and gas fields. The top commanders told us, they said that American leadership, the Norwegian commanders told us American leadership and technology will win the day they are sure of it. They are banking on America. My producer and I are now about to roll out, okay, now some of you are going to find this really super cool because you're probably going to work on it if you haven't already. My producer and I are working on a new documentary, and it's really going to be focusing on what it takes to get to Mars. And here's what's fascinating. NASA is dead serious about this, so much so that they are collaborating right now with the military on new nuclear-powered rockets that would cut the travel time it takes us to get to Mars dramatically. Because right now it takes 2 years, they think, 2 years round trip to go to Mars and back. So if they can cut that dramatically, they would cut the space radiation time, not to mention the boredom and the crew morale issues of spending 2 years in a metal tube with some of your best friends who quickly may not be your best friends. So this is not theoretical. NASA is doing this right now. I saw the engines myself. They pulled out the blueprints from the 1960s. This is the future. Last week, I was reporting on the shortage of airline pilots. The estimate is that we need 80,000 pilots over the next 10 years. 80,000. Talk about job security. The CEO of United, of American, and Delta, they all said they don't really care what you study. They want smart candidates who can think on their feet, make fast decisions. They will train you to be a pilot. They've all got now new academies, but they want your brains. The FAA has 1,200 fewer air traffic controllers than 10 years ago. 1,200. So the airlines are now trimming their schedules into New York City because the towers can't handle the flight volumes. The FAA chief was on Capitol Hill recently. He said, we need STEM graduates, lots of them. So this is the world you're stepping into right now. I mean, wow. What a time to be you. What a time to study what you've studied. And don't stop reinventing yourselves. Now, after spending 8 years doing local TV news in Texas and Colorado, covering a lot of tornadoes, wildfires, crime, courts, politics, I decided to reinvent myself. So I wanted to live overseas. I wanted to travel. I wanted to really up my game. So I moved to Brussels, Belgium, and went to grad school studying international business. That led to a job at CNBC Business News in London and then New York, covering financial markets, business, economics. From CNBC, I went to NBC News in New York and then here to DC, started covering aviation and space. Coolest beats ever, right? But then I started getting pulled into cybersecurity stories because everybody was getting hacked, right? So they decided, hey, Tom, you need to learn a little more about cybersecurity. So I went and got a certificate in cybersecurity risk management. Don't worry, your jobs are safe. All I did was learn the language. That's it. I can't even program my laptop. But the point was, I needed the language to ask smart questions, and so that helped, right? It's all about learning, pushing the envelope. It's a key to success. All right, a few other keys to success as we wrap up. And whatever you do, and I think you guys know this already, it's kindness, it's respect, it's outreach. Almost everybody is thinking about themselves 90% of the time. That's human nature. So get into the other person's 90%. Acknowledge them, listen to them, compliment them, forgive them, make them feel valued and special. Show up to work 15 minutes early, leave 15 minutes late. Everybody will notice, nobody will say anything. Share the credit with others when something goes right, but take all the blame when something doesn't go so well. And this is important for all of you overachievers here. What you do is only a part of who you are. Close the laptop, put down the phone, take in the real world around you, go out and explore, sing and dance and love and laugh and cry. That is the essence of life. Life is about the journey more than the destination. And so when things suddenly do spontaneously disassemble, as they did for Elon, pick yourself up, go for a beer, and then remember that sage advice from the wisest of wise men you all know, Winnie the Pooh. He said, I always get to where I'm going by walking away from where I've been. Congratulations, graduates. You've got the world by the tail. Go get them.